Hey, sports card friends, we are here again for another Sports Cards 101 video. Today we are going to talk about why sports card pricing patterns, the prices, are not necessarily very predictable. How come sometimes they just don't make any sense? Stick around. Hello to all my sports card collector, investor, all of my collectibles friends out there in the universe. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. I hope that everyone is having a good week so far. We are tackling kind of a fun topic. I was thinking about this last night. I was like, you know what? I should talk about this. And this is for kind of the, beginners or intermediate people. Maybe you're just getting into the hobby, or you've been in for 6 months, a year, something like that. And just trying to wrap your head around this crazy sports card market. And I'm with you. I'm here with you, trying to wrap my head around it a lot of days. So if you like what you do here, please subscribe, hit the like button, the notification bell, a little tappity tap on that notification bell. It helps our channel grow. We're up to 12,500 plus subscribers and continue to grow and having a blast doing it. Almost daily content on sports cards and collectible type stuff, all the fun stuff, guys. Look, your families don't want to hear about you talk about cards to them. That's why you're here. Come and hang out with us. We'll chat it up in the comments. Okay, why do these sports card pricing patterns not make sense all the time? First off, so much variance between different sports, different card sets, different players, different genres. Are we talking vintage? Are we talking modern? Are we talking ultra modern sports cards? It's all over the place. There's so many cards, frankly, so much inventory out there. There are so many options. And then when you factor in quality of each of those cards, meaning what type of shape are they in, and then you've got third-party grading that comes into the mix. Is it fair? Is it good? Is it near mint? Is it mint? There is a zillion different ways that this thing can go. And so, of course, because of all of that, we've got just a lot of different variants. I do believe that over the last couple of years, the hobby has gotten smarter. I do think that collectors or investors or hybrids, whatever you call yourself, has gotten smarter as a hobby. And you see a lot of kind of the stuff I'm seeing today, which is interesting. And we do talk about scarcity, pop reports, population reports. For those that are new, grading companies have population reports that show how many of a specific card they have graded, PSA being the most popular one of these. To be able to go, you'll hear that term pop report, and it's just to go to see how many have been graded. And a lot of times what will happen is people will say, hey, how come pricing for X player is so much less than Y player for this particular card, for this particular set? And a lot of times, if you just dig in a little bit further, you might see that the population on that particular card is 500, whereas the other player is 1,000, or maybe it's 2,000. And so that right there in itself just tells you that there's that many more cards in the market. Now, granted, there's a lot of these that might be in collections that are not for sale, so they're not in the market right this second, but it just shows you how many exist out there, or kind of a guesstimate. Population reports aren't perfect because you do have people that take slabs, they crack those slabs, they resubmit, and every time that same card gets graded, it gets tacked onto the population report. So population reports are not perfect, but they are helpful. They are a guide. They are a guide in the same way that data tools are a guide. When you're using a card ladder or a market movers type data tool to give you data on specific sets, players, cards, that's a starting point, because those data tools are not going to be able to factor in every single face-to-face sale, every single card show sale. It's giving you kind of a broad overview, trying to give you data points to help you. It's not perfect, but at least it's something. And before this, we just had kind of eBay sold listings, Excel spreadsheets that you make at home. So this helps to kind of organize those things. A lot of the confusion in the pricing, as well as just the fact that a lot of the focus has been around pricing data around 2020 and 2021 card sales. And in reality, if you look back, pre-2019 on a lot of this stuff, you see a big drop off in price, meaning that there has been a huge run up over the last few years in sports card prices. And that can be kind of confusing, because when you're trying to look at trends year over year, well, it's kind of difficult to do year over year trends for a lot of cards, cards when really you've got 2019 is this way, 2018, 2019 was one way, 2020 is kind of bonkers, 2021 also bonkers, and what is 2022 going to look like? These are kind of outlier boom years, that kind of give the impression that there's been a lot of kind of other maybe boom years prior, and that's not really the case. You have had little booms, but 2019, kind of fall of 2019 leading up to now really has been boom time, boom time. And that's why you see a lot of speculation as to how long can this last? Can these prices maintain? Will they continue to go up? But frankly, you're seeing this in a lot of other collectibles spaces, whether it be graded comic books or graded video games or graded coins or, even cryptocurrencies and a lot of other different asset classes. You are seeing the same sorts of debates, where you've seen kind of the rocket ship and then the kind of the crash that's come and then it'll level off. And where it's leveled off in a lot of cases is still quite a bit higher than where it was 3 or 4 years ago. That can be kind of confusing for somebody coming in and just trying to figure out what is the deal with prices. Another important key data point is we have money that shifts back and forth from up and coming prospects, guys that are still trying to kind of prove themselves. I think in basketball, you've got different layers of this. You might have, Colin Sexton is a prospect that you're thinking, oh, he could be a superstar. And then you've got a Luka Doncic who is a superstar, but he's 22 years old. He's very, very young, has a long way to go, to win an MVP, to win championships. He hasn't done these things yet, but there's an expectation that he will. There's an expectation that he's going to kind of be one of those top 3, top 5 guys in the league in 5 years, maybe even 3 years from now. He is considered to be one of those guys along with Giannis, some of these other up and coming guys that have already kind of proven. And a lot of people would kind of argue with me, well, hey, Giannis is already far beyond Luka. Giannis has won MVPs and he's won a title. Fair enough. Giannis is also, look, he's got a few years on Luka too. So, but we'll see. I mean, Luka's got a long way to go. And he certainly gets hobby love. So we'll have to see where that goes. But that's a point of I think a good reference point here is you'll see a lot of money that moves back and forth between up and comers, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Giannis, to GOATs and established Hall of Famers, whether it be Joe Montana rookie cards, or Tom Brady, or it's, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. These are just examples. These are all just examples of where it's like, these are the established guys and these are the up and comers. And you see kind of money that shifts back and forth here. So that's where you'll see volatility. And I think that's another thing as we come up to this season, there was a lot of prospecting money that moved into Hall of Famers or GOATs or other things over the last probably 4, 5, 6 months, 7 months. Will it shift back to some of these up and comers? And what happens when, there is not a LeBron James, Kevin Durant playing in the next 2-3 years? Who are those next guys coming up? And that's where a lot of people are having fun kind of trying to figure that out. And you have the same thing in football where you've got the Tom Brady's and the Aaron Rodgers that are going to be out of the league probably in the next, 3 or 4 years. And who are those next guys up? A lot of fun and exciting young players. And so that prospecting sports betting side, is fun. So you have that big shift, that goes back and forth between those kind of genres of established Hall of Famers and prospects. And that goes all the way back. There's a great documentary. I'm forgetting the name on it, but I did a video on it. It's from 1990. I'll see if I can find it and put it in the video description. But it's great because it's literally a home video. A guy did a kind of a senior project and he's going around to card shows talking to dealers. And it's the exact same conversations where they're talking about like, oh, all these young people, they just want Don Mattingly rookie cards. They're not interested in the greats like, Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle, etc. And it's the same sorts of conversations that we have today. So it's like, as much as things change, they don't change at all in some ways. I think that's kind of funny, but that also contributes to, price movements and volatility. We also see a very reactionary market when it comes from, player injuries or, player news. Oh, there's a possible trade. There's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen with a particular player. I'll use a Bradley Beal, for example, in basketball. There's a lot of people that just love his game. He's a superstar. He can score the ball, but is he ever going to get traded out of, is he going to get traded to a contender? And that's what people are watching for. Oh, well, when Bradley Beal goes to the Lakers, his, cards are going to skyrocket. So there's a lot of people that will pick out superstars. Karl Anthony Towns is another guy that's like this, where it's like, he just plays in Minnesota. And once he gets out of Minnesota and he gets on the Nets or the Lakers or wherever the Mavericks or forever, then his cards are going to get a bump. And a lot of times that does happen. It happened with Anthony Davis cards when he went from New Orleans to the Lakers. And so we could see those sorts of things happen. Of course, we don't know if those sorts of trends will continue. Those are things that we saw over the last couple of years. Historically, I don't know if it's had those big types of price swings. We'll have to see, but those are we're living in a reactionary market right this second over the last couple of years where you do see a rookie that goes off, has a 40-point game or throws 3 touchdown passes. And for a week or two, their prices kind of shoot up and then a lot of times they kind of come back down. It's a very reactionary type market. So why are people operating in this market where you have kind of all this, uncertainty? It's very new as far as kind of these, these high prices are very new. Not to say that there wasn't high prices before, but we're at another level now where you've got multi-million-dollar sales in sports cards and sports memorabilia kind of all the time. We're almost numb to it at this point. Whereas in years past, someone sold a piece of sports memorabilia for $1 million and it got your attention. Now it's like a weekly thing. So why are people operating in this space if it is so uncertain? And the reason is because what we've seen over the last few years is there's a lot of kind of fun short-term and potential long-term plays, if you will, that are out there depending on kind of how you view certain players, how you kind of have put your strategy together. There are, short-term flip possibilities, and there are some, guys that, kind of those GOAT players, if you get in at a good price point, or maybe it's not a GOAT, but it's a guy that's very established that you're like, what, I just feel good about this person long-term. And then that's it can be a long-term hold for you. So I think a lot of people like the fact that you can go short-term and long-term and kind of move in and out of stuff fairly easily. There's now more and more platforms. There's more and more businesses entering into the market. And it's fun too. It's sports. Look, we all love sports anyways. And then when you throw in the childhood nostalgia with all the cards and the sports memorabilia, and you're able to kind of tie it all together, it's just a lot of fun. So that's why people are in this market. And that's why I think they'll continue on. Unless we have kind of a big economic crash, which that's going to hamper everybody for everything. And I do think it will continue on, and we will see these things kind of build on itself. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope that this information helps somebody out there, whether you're a newcomer, like I said, or maybe someone that's been in for 6 months, a year, and just trying to wrap your head around why are prices so high here, or why might they be lower for this or for that. These are kind of critical things as we look at people getting into the hobby and hopefully staying, because it's a lot of fun. And there's also multi-generations of people that are doing this. There's a lot of fathers and sons that are out here, doing this, and it's fantastic. So it can be a great bonding experience. And it's awesome. So guys, thank you very much for joining me here today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.